the Powerade Aquamirror solution. As far as reach, now what I mean by reach is the ability to get water out of a creek that is difficult to get water out of. And that can take different forms depending on what you're looking at. But the two that you commonly come across are where the pool of water is smaller than the bottle can fit in. So you have this kind of situation where it's a deep well with a little water in the bottom, and there's really not a good, easy way to get a bottle down there. In that situation, the MSR is going to have an advantage. You can drop this guy down into the puddle and slurp up some water. And so it would have an advantage in that situation. The alternative situation, though, is where you have a creek where it's very flat and shallow. So it's, you know, falling down a wet rock, basically, and it's about this deep. In that situation, advantage for the Powerade bottle and a disadvantage for the MSR. So depending on the situation, I give it a draw. I think that each one has advantages in different situations. But I actually have a tip. This is a Ziploc bag, and on a long hike you will generate quite a few of them if you're anything like me. The neat thing about this plastic bag is that it can get water out of any creek that either one of these cannot get any water out of. So in a situation where you have the big shallow area, the plastic bag can reach down and get it. It can also reach down into a deep pool and pull out some water. So this is definitely a tip that is not necessarily obvious, but is really useful for situations where you have difficult to get water and you need to fill your bottle full of it. So I think that we've had the comparo, and there's no question in my mind that the solution with the Powerade and the Aquamirror is victorious in just about every way, and I don't frankly understand why they still sell filters and other big solutions. A couple of other solutions. I actually started out my hike with a Camelback because I thought that seemed like a great idea. It's hands-free. You know, you can put the bladder back into your backpack and have the little nozzle come up, and then you can just sip away as you hike. The big disadvantage with that solution is that you have no idea how much is actually in your bladder at any given time. So you need to fill it up periodically throughout the day when you get down to certain thresholds. With a solution like this, you'll have two in either neoprene holster on your backpack, and then usually a reserve inside the pack. And then throughout the day, you'll just fill up the two as you go, unless you have a problem, and then you end up needing to break into the third. Whereas with the Camelback, you have no idea. After about an hour of hiking, there's no way to know the intersection between altitude you've gained and the temperature of the day versus how much you'll normally consume. It gets really complicated to try to estimate what's in your Camelback. So that was the biggest problem. The second problem with the Camelback I found was that it got yucky. You know, you think about it and you think, oh, well, I'll be filling up full of this tap water and, you know, emptying it out. And then once, you know, when I get to a good stopping place, I'll wash it out using some soap. In practice, it didn't work out nearly that smoothly for me. You know, you're filling up in creeks and you get other little flotsam and jetsam in there, and it gets pretty funky. And it has a lot of nooks and crannies that when you're staying in a hotel room and you're trying to clean it out using hotel soap, it can be really difficult to keep it clean. So I got rid of the Camelback as soon as I crossed into North Carolina, actually. So I didn't keep that for very long. A couple other tricks. These are actually the emergency chlorine tablets that I started with on the trail, and I kept them for months and months, and I still frankly have no idea what they taste like because I never used them. But it's a good idea to keep something like this with whatever solution you have. In case of emergency, you can clean your water. I know some of you are going to be saying, you know, why bother to filter your water at all? You know, we're going to be out in the mountains through these beautiful stream-fed creeks. And, you know, the chance of getting Giardia is 1% out of any given spring. And, you know, if you're just going out for overnight, you know, always treat your water. Don't try this at home, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. But for me, what I figured out was, you know, if there's a 1% chance of me getting Giardia, and I fill up my bottle of water 1,000 times, that means the odds are that I'm going to get Giardia 10 times, and I don't want that. So it was much easier for me to just use some filtration solution. So it's kind of the law of large numbers. You know, if you're only going to do it once, there's only a 1% chance. But if you do it 1,000 times, odds are that you're going to get sick eventually. Oh, I mentioned the taste. The taste of the Aquamira, it's like tap water with a little squirt of lemon. Was the flavor that I ended up getting used to, and you get used to it really quick. It didn't bother me. I do not like the taste of iodine, but a little chlorine, and Aquamira tastes a little different than like pool water. It tastes more like I say, like a little lemon in a big thing of water. As far as flavors, I actually really enjoyed these on the trail. These little Crystal Light flavored packets. Eventually you get tired of drinking muddy tasting creek water, and you'll wish that you had something flavored. And so these are a few examples of flavors that I really enjoyed carrying on the trail. Let me see if there's anything else we needed to cover. Obviously hydration is a big issue, and you know, the 3-liter thing, it was my standard. Sometimes you go down to 2. Crossing Pennsylvania, you may need up to like 6 liters of water. Other thing to note, it's important to keep 1 liter bottles like this, because it makes it easier for the Aquamira. You know, you do 7 drops of the chlorine and 7 drops of the activator per liter, and so it was always really easy to kind of keep 1 liter at a time going. The thin size was really nice. Gatorade bottles are much thicker, and they're actually significantly tougher to get water out of from creeks and whatnot. I think that about wraps it up for my notes on hydration. Thank you for tuning in to the 2nd episode of the Minimalist Backpacker.